An hour ago, we added 5 inches of water on top of this profile, and and we see that it is all drained through the profile. And in fact, we started at 5 inches in this lower cylinder, and we are now at 10 inches. So that full amount of water has moved through the system. So what's the positives and what are the negatives? When we began this demonstration, this root zone mix was bone dry. It took hours for that water to hydrate that soil, and once that soil was fully hydrated, then we saw drainage begin to occur here. This confirms what we know from other demonstrations and other research of this type, where when soils are dry, they become hygroscopic. They do not, they basically repel moisture. So during the summertime, when we have a severe thunderstorm and it's been dry for a week, we might get 2 inches of rain. All of that water is going to run off. It does very little benefit for your lawn, for your trees, or for the environment. It goes to storm drains. If we have hydrated soils, which we have in this last phase of the demonstration, this soil, this root zone mix was thoroughly wet. It had drained, it had pore space that was filled with air again. And when we put that 5 inches of water on top, it displaced that air in this root zone mix and drained down through the system. First time we did it, it took hours. This time, 1 hour, 5 inches of water infiltrating the soil profile. What's important about this? This is a constructed soil profile. When you use these, you got to think about what the underlying parent material is. You're going to excavate down to a depth of 3 feet. You need to study what that material is that you're excavating to, that you're going to build this upon. At Shenley Plaza, we did the geotechnical. We knew that at 3 foot down, we were going to be able to incorporate about 1/4 inch per hour of water. So as this water moved down into these drainage gravels, a lot of that water was able to get into our parent materials. We recently completed a project in Mellon Park, and we were able to put this type of soil profile right on top of the parent material. There was exposed outcroppings of the shale rock. We didn't test the drainage on the shale rock, but we do know that we dumped buckets, 5-gallon buckets, into holes, and they were just draining down into that fractured rock. So I would say that the drainage there is equivalent to what we have as these number 57 stones here for drainage. And so when we're incorporating this type of stormwater into these soil profiles at Mellon Park, all of that water is going back down to recharge our aquifer and going down to provide benefit to the environment. At Shenley Plaza, because we're on a clay that varies a little bit with silt content, much of the water is going back into the soil underlying material, but some of it will run off to the perimeter drains that we've installed in that area. This is really valuable information. It confirms what we know about soils and how they respond to moisture. And I think it's a valuable demonstration to see that, the materials, these finer materials do not drain through the system, that the fact that the bridging gravel is of a diameter that it keeps the sandy and the sandy root zone mix and the gravels from just flowing through. I actually took a metal rod and I poked on this root zone mix while it was wet, tried to get it to force into this bridging gravel layer to see if it would flow through down into the drainage gravel. It doesn't. A lot of people use fabrics, landscape fabrics, to keep these fine particles from migrating into their drainage layer. We know the fabrics, the fine particles in this root zone mix will clog that fabric. the system will fail. You do not need to use fabrics when you're constructing soil profiles of this nature.